Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
You bet, you bet. Any other questions?
We are live.
Okay, so everyone, you should have received, I shared a document across the state. I hope I did it correctly. Um, that I shared a folder out to everyone. Everyone, it says new to real estate, now what? If you did not receive that folder, if you'll put it down here in the text chat and someone who has it, if you'll forward that email on to them, that would help me on the multitasking. Grace, I just sent it over your way. When I sent it to Anna as well. Did you guys both receive that? I'm assuming that's a yes.
I got it. Thanks, Sheila.
Okay, perfect. So, um, perfect. So on the screen behind me, as well as this, what you should have access to as well, and I think we've all been there. Congratulations, you passed your real estate license. That's awesome. That's great. Okay, now what do I do? I have, I suspect you've all felt that way. I know we felt that way. And it makes it a little bit of a challenge when you are brand new and you're in a cloud environment. Because when you're in bricks and mortar, you walk in and you at least have hustle and bustle and you start being able to see what others are doing or mimic that behavior at least. So what do we do? What happens now? Um, the main thing you need to remember is that you are always a lead generating machine. Always. You're always going to be looking for leads, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about how to structure your day, the importance of time blocking. So let's jump right into it because I want to respect you all's maybe a mastermind session and kind of brainstorming a bit if you all want to. Um, so if you haven't signed up for the mentor program, just as Ina and I were just discussing, the mentor program is a fantastic way to have that accountability partner, to have somebody walk you through and guide you through the best tips and tricks that they have found that works in their business. The mentor program is 10% for your first 5 or 6 transactions. I believe it's 5. Why did we pick that number? I actually was part of the planning committee that when they were looking at doing that, as we very quickly figured out, by the time you do 5 or 6 sale or buy transactions, you are very close to capping. The term capping in real estate means that you have capped out on the amount of money that you are paying to the company. So that's about $80,000 in income, GCI. GCI means gross commission income. And that when you've earned about $80,000, you have paid 16,000 of that to EXP as a general rule. That's about 3% based on 2.7 million in sales and production. Now, if you're doing deals for 1%, then you're going to need a lot more transactions than that in order to pay in that cap. But after 5 or 6 deals, you should be very close to capping. Our goal is to get you to cap within about 8 or 9 months your first year. When Ron and I first got in real estate in Austin, we didn't know anybody. We knew family, um, like his parents and a couple brothers. Other than that, we had no family and friends in town, and we were new to real estate, new to the city. We capped in 9 months. We worked hard. So it takes a lot of work. Nobody's as invested in your business as you are. You are now a business owner. You are not an employee. If you don't want to get up and get started until 10 a.m., nobody's going to be there beating you to have you, fire you or get you up and going. You determine your schedule. So Tim Macy has a 5 a.m. club. That's not an EXP thing. That is a national movement. It's people that they commit to being up and on a conference call at 5 a.m. in the morning. It's an accountability. And then you post what you got done between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Um, Carolyn, you can send an email on the mentor program. If you want to send me an email, I'll get you set up with Judy Schneider and she can assign a mentor to you. Um, the you need to time block your time. Your first year in real estate, 80% of brand new agents wash out primarily because of cash flow problems. So you want to be doing leases, you want to be doing home home evaluations as far as CMAs, you want to be doing open houses. You need to be doing everything you can do I personally knocked doors. I didn't know anybody in town anyway, so it didn't intimidate me. I wasn't worried about my kid's teacher answering the door or somebody I go to church with answering the door. I didn't know anybody. So I thought, well, what better way to practice my scripts? I attacked it from an approach of I'm out to meet people and practice my scripts. That took the pressure off of myself. It took the desperation factor out. It of I'm looking at people as the next sale. People can smell desperation. So you want to try and contain that. You don't ever want to approach people and go, "Oh my gosh, I have to sell this lady a house because I need to make my car payment next week." People can sense that, and that's not a good place to be coming from. So just know that you are in control of your time, in control of your business. A mentor should help you with time blocking. I know Ron and I had a productivity coach that we paid that additional 10% on as well when we were first getting started. And one of the best exercises was taking an Outlook calendar and time blocking. You can do it on the Google Calendar as well. Now you can access it from your phone or anywhere. And it's something about when you block it off in red and put lead generation, or writing personal cards, working on database. You put those things in your calendar and then you don't do it, you know that there's an accountability to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and there's a difference between being productive versus being busy. So point number 3, learn the cycle. Leads, appointments, signed agreements, contracts, closing. That is the life cycle, always. This is the pipeline. So when you talk about feeding your pipeline, or you hear agents and leaders say that, that's what we're talking about. Where our pipeline? When we first got started, we actually had a big whiteboard in our small little 9 by 9 office we had at the time, and we would track it and we would kind of put them through a timeline and mark where people were at so we could get a visual. You need to be working with at least 10 leads at all times. At first, it's a typical conversion ratio is going to be low. So you're talking, if you're working with 10 leads, you may get 5 of them to sign a buyer rep agreement or a listing agreement. Your first year or two, you're going to have way more buyers than listings typically. Your plan is to slowly roll that over. But your first year, don't be surprised if you don't do a listing at all. Maybe all buyers. That's okay. It's still money in your bank account, and there's still deals. Plan on closing out of those 10 leads, plan on 3 of them going to closing. So if you have 5 under an agreement and you get them, out of the 5, you get 3 under a contract, you may have 1 or 2 fall off. There's going to be a buyer that goes out and buys a new car the day before closing and crashes the deal. A buyer that gets fired, a couple that decides to get a divorce in the middle of a transaction. Kinds of things happen. You're dealing with people and real lives and family situations. The deal in Houston, people were under contract and then a hurricane hit. They weren't planning on that. It's just things that happen. So you constantly want to have people in various stages of this life cycle. So if I have 10 contacts that become leads and I get 5 under buyer rep agreement, well, then I'm not going, whew, okay, I've got all I can handle. Nope, I'm back out tomorrow looking for 10 more new contacts so that a few of them can become leads. You're just constantly feeding that pipeline. May have just lost my screen share. So think you totally want to maintain 100 contacts per week that you're adding to your database. That's a lot. But I can tell you, anytime that I had any kind of business slowdown and got frustrated, my screen just crashed. Ron, you can still see things on the video, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So those of you should have the documents as well. So you can look on the what we're going over on that. Anybody doesn't have it, please let me know. Oh, and now it's back up. Here we go. Number 4, the database. So you're working all these contacts, you're working all these leads. How in the world do you keep them straight? I can tell you it's not a good plan. You need to have something organized. There is a ton of CRMs out there, a ton. You have access to conversion at free. It's part of your $50 a month tech fee. You do have to opt in for it. So if you have not, let agent services know that you would like to opt in for conversion. That is, Lisa, just pull it up on your Google Share Docs. That is a viable CRM that you can use. If you, contactually, I've heard good things about it. I think it's very low cost. I think it's $10 or $20 a month. The there's lots and lots and lots of systems. I've heard Brad Anderson say that the best database, the best CRM is the one that you're going to use, whether that is Outlook, whether that is some producer. You typically want to set your contacts up on some sort of drip campaign. Drip campaign, you can do it through conversion, or again, I think about top producer or um, Ron, what's the grasshopper? The one, what's Happy Grasshopper?
Happy Grasshopper.
We used that one a lot at one time. There's a bunch of them. So if you just truly do a Google search for real estate CRMs, realtor drip campaigns, you'll get all kinds of stuff pop up. Also, too, use our Facebook boards. Ask people what are they using, what works well for them. The idea being is that your database needs to be hearing from you regularly. Brian Buffini is another great approach that if you look at his stuff and he coaches, go through and look at the suggestions they give. You want to be sending them an email once a month on some type of helpful home improvement or something on the market, kind of a feel good piece. But then the next week you might want to call the everybody in your database and reach out to them. Well, then the following week you might want to do note cards to people that have birthdays. Sendoutcards.com. They'll actually, you can put your database in there and they'll send out the cards for you. And it's, again, it's a fee, but it's a low fee. Um, you continue to work your database. At first, it's going to be slow. So you're going to need some things in between to pay your bills. Work as either a showing assistant. Definitely be working your open houses. That's free. It doesn't cost you anything to lead generate that way. The bigger your database, the more often you touch your contacts, the bigger your business will be. So it just grows on itself. So how do you build your database? Again, we moved to Austin. We didn't know anybody. Like, great. I would sit in these classes at my brokerage and it'd say, call everyone in your database. And I thought, well, I can call my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law's friend. And that's about all I know in the area. So I got to where I called people outside of Austin, said, who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Austin metro area? So I was able to build things that way. Um, the cold calling, that's something personally we chose not to do, was not our favorite. I don't think I'd still be in real estate if I had to cold call, but there's several other top producing agents, Jeremy Knight, Mike Porcio, several others that are cold calling machines. They love to call the expires, FISBOs. Just make sure you're honoring the do not call list and you're familiar with those federal guidelines because there's some stiff penalties for that. But there's people that like that. The fantasy football leagues or the basketball leagues, the March Madness, you can host one of those. It doesn't cost you anything. And get a lender or somebody else just want to do it for bragging rights and then gather people's contacts names and information. All those people go into your database. They're now giving you their name, their phone number, and their email. Um, there's a guy that we used to work with that he worked as a bartender prior to getting into real estate. And so he's the fun guy. He let all of his friends know that, hey, anytime you're hosting a party or anything, invite me over and I'll be the bartender for free. You buy the booze, I'll just do the mixing. And he does that. And that's how he talks to people. He said, I've never, been out looking for leads in my life. He said, I've just always been the guy that's a bartender, that's a realtor. And so he built relationships that way. Um, you can have shirts and with logos on it, eXp Realty. Gene Frederick taught us early on because he was at the same market center that we were at. He taught us early on. He said, become a master at leaving your name badge on. Whether you're walking into another appointment or to someplace that you volunteer and people go, oh, you have your name badge on. Like, oh, it's been a busy day. I totally forgot to take it off. Been out showing property. And then just leave it on. Don't take it off. Um, you have people come over for a cookout, and we've done this more than once. we have had a neighborhood cookout and had people come over, and it was bring your own meat. So we provided all the side dishes, hot dogs and burgers. But come on over and uh, we'll provide the location and the ice and the drinks and side dishes. We had our open house signs. We set the tables up in our garage, and our open house signs in our garage, our for sale signs, were leaning against the wall in the garage for all of them to see. We didn't put it in front of their face, but by golly, it just happened to be leaning against the wall for people to see. And so it's just constantly, being gently making people aware that you're in real estate. They forget they have lives outside of real estate. Try and remember, people are only going to buy or sell a home typically a few times in their lifetime. So it's not top of mind all the time for them. Gene Frederick wrote an awesome book. I've heard him teach the class over and over, and he finally sat down and wrote the book and got it out. And it's awesome. 101 Ways to Lead Generate. Robert Evans helped him write that. You can buy that on Amazon. I think it's a $10 or $15 book. So it's awesome. And just follow 3 or 4 of those funnels and do that. Gene will tell you that have the best business, you probably want to have 6 funnels going at all times. So you might work new builds. You might work short sales. You might get in good with some bankers for REOs. Then, but if the market changes and shifts, we've been on a crazy seller's market. Well, the REOs have been virtually non-existent. They're starting to come back a little bit. So you always want to have a couple different avenues that you're working. Talk to people who are in sales, people at the car dealerships, at the luxury car dealerships, furniture stores. Find the people that are talking to buyers and sellers before you know that they're buyers or sellers. You might set up a fish bowl, put it at a restaurant, and ask the restaurant if, hey, can I give away, a free lunch, a free gift certificate every week or every month, and to collect business cards. Well, now people are dropping their cards in, and you're building your database. So get creative and think about how you can build this. As I mentioned before, we built ours by knocking on doors, and I ordered some door hangers, offering to do a free CMA. And I went to about a 500 to $600,000 neighborhood, and it didn't intimidate me, didn't bother me in the least, and started knocking doors. I did a couple CMAs. Never got a listing in that area, but it helped build my confidence, and it helped me get comfortable with the sphere of influence. The goal is to meet 100 new people every week, and you have a conversation with them, not just meet them, but you have to say the words, do you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? You can build a referral business, the Brian Buffini system. Just Google Brian Buffini if you don't know who he is, and you'll get all kinds of neat ideas for pop buys. We've done the Girl Scout cookies and Boy Scout popcorn. Uh, Girl Scout cookies, we like to buy them when everybody else is buying them, but deliver them a month or two later with a note that says Dunnigan team. We deliver when no one else can. Because everyone by that point is already looking for the Girl Scout cookies that, they know they shouldn't eat anymore, but they want more. So do things like that, again, where people think of you. Number 6, budget your expenses. You're going to have a monthly tech fee every month of $50 when you're at EXP. So plan on that. Budget for that. You're going to have your quarterly board dues, your MLS dues. Don't be surprised by that. I believe they come due every March and September. If you don't pay those, you cannot be considered a realtor at EXP. And it's imperative that you do pay those and that you join a board, because if you don't, we are shut down in that MLS for all agents. So it's a big deal. You can't just slide by and not pay it. We find out about it, you get the letter from the broker, and then you have a short period of time to pay it. So it's one of your business expenses. We don't have rent we have to pay. We don't have other things we have to pay, but you have to pay your quarterly board dues and your MLS dues. Do not get suckered in and overspend on marketing. Realtors are marketed to more than any other industry. So everybody knows it. It's that, realtors can make good money. When they have money, they tend to overspend. So just be aware of that. Set aside money for taxes. figure percent every closing. Set it aside. Talk to your accountant, talk to your CPA, find out what's the best uh, business practice for you. They'll help you plan, but be proactive about it. Don't get yourself in trouble that at the end of the year you owe a whole bunch of money, the market's shifted, and you're not able to pay it. The IRS always collects, and it's not fun to deal with them after the fact. Save for future market shifts. Market, it will shift. It always shifts. Know your life cycles. If it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. Things can happen very quickly, just like Hurricane Harvey, that can adversely affect your market quickly. Be able to adapt and change. Our Houston agents caught on very quickly, and you'll see that the top teams are out there volunteering with their time. Why? Because they're getting in front of people in their time of need. They're helping them out. Their business is slowed down anyway, but now they're building that database for the future. That's very smart for them to do on their part. Reinvest in your business. When you do have a closing, then it's a great time to go out and get those EXP shirts. I saw somebody ask about where do you find them. Um, the guys' shirts, Macy's, any of the golf stores. Don't buy the $100 shirts. A good $20-$25 shirt, something that looks good, is a good shirt to get. And then you can get the logos online. And then whoever asked that, Vanda, on as far as the embroidery stuff, we can email that to you. Ron found somebody locally here in the Austin area that does his shirts for him, but just ask around. As far as the other EXP shirts, I'm sure at EXPCon there's going to be vendors there, and then we can find out the EXP Realty private group. There's people that have connections to some of the vendors as well. Um, then reinvest in your business. So, you have the closing. That's when you spend the money on the shirts. Don't put it on your credit card ahead of time. Set aside money to go to convention, to go to shareholder. I know it's expensive. I know the flights can be expensive. It is well worth it. You want to spend time around top producing people. Spend time around the top producing agents. Early on, we were doing open houses. You can look at most of your board less and see my office listings. I would click on that and look to see who had the nice high-end listings, and I would call them and ask if they needed an open house that weekend. I didn't wait for them to post saying they needed one. I was proactive. Most people start thinking about an open house on Thursday or Friday. I would usually call on Tuesday. Say, I'd like to know if your client would like to have an open house this weekend. I would love to do Saturday or Sunday early on. We kind of learned that we like Sunday better. We tend to find more buyers on a Sunday. Saturday seems to be more serious buyers that already have an agent. So we would host on Sundays and do from 2 to 5. And I would tell the agent, I'll go out and knock on doors Friday and Saturday and invite people to the open house. Well, now that makes the listing agent look really good. And then we put a sign out on the yard on Friday that says open house Sunday. So we're also advertising that, helping to drive traffic. I would ask the listing agent if I could go by and meet the sellers and find out from them what they love about the home. And I would introduce myself as being part of Mr. Listing Agent's team. And then we would have the open house on Sunday. So now I've knocked on at least 100 doors, inviting them to the open house. The seller feels good about that listing agent. The listing agent feels good because their property is being marketed. And the odds of me having a good turnout have increased greatly. And when I'm knocking doors, I tell them I'm hosting the open house on Sunday. And they go, I'm not looking to buy. Oh, I know that. You live in a great neighborhood. Why would you want to move across the street? But you know what? If you know any of your friends or family looking to buy that you'd like to live close to, if you'll let them know about it, that'd be awesome. One of our open houses, we picked up a $450,000 buyer. So it's well worth your time, and it's $0 cost for you. Our very first clients that we ever had is somebody that I happened to meet at church. This day, they still do not know they were our very first clients. You don't need to advertise that you're brand new, that you're not quite certain about what you're doing. Definitely let your broker know that, let your mentor know that. Come to us with any questions. We're happy to help, but carry yourself with confidence. The best way to do that is be familiar with the documents that you're asking people to sign. Read the contract. reread the contract, be able to explain it whenever it's upside down on a table, because you're sitting, somebody sitting across from you. Be able to say one or two sentences about each portion of the contract as you're going over it. We won't go over it right here, but I did include a lot. Personalize it, tweak it a little bit to fit yourself, but pay attention to the areas where it says pause and the lines right before that. There's a reason for that. We won't go into all that now, but it comes from one of the a good coach in the industry, and there's some power in the pauses when you ask questions. About how to text and a texting script. And if you've ever been in his 101 Ways to Lead Generate seminar that he does it in the class. And then you send somebody, you know, your phone is your database. I don't know about y'all, but I have 800 or 900 numbers in there. And so you can sit there and go down the list saying, hey, Judy, this is Sheila. I'm in a competition at my brokerage and I have 15 minutes to come up with as many referrals from people on my list that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Can you help me out? I need their name and phone number. Thanks. See what you get. When they send you one, ask for another one. Perfect. Awesome. You got any more? Who else do you know? Grace, I think you were at that class in San Antonio. What was the number somebody had? 20 or 25? May not be in here. But there was a one person had gotten, and mainly because they just kept saying, who else? Who else? And so they kept asking. Other helpful information. XP's Google based. So know your Gmail, know the Google Docs. Do all of y'all know how to get into Google Docs? Okay, good. So get into Google Docs and go through. The steps are right here. Whenever you are in, go to google.com and then you set up your Gmail or sign in your Gmail as Sandra.Eglin at exprealty.com. That is your eXp Realty email address. And when you do that, you will see um, 9 dots that appear. You can look, I have my screen share on here. You can kind of see it up to the top right next to that, what looks like a bell. There's 9 squares up there. And so when you click on those 9 squares, that takes you to the Google Apps. And then you'll see the little triangle that says Drive. You click on Drive. And then it'll open it up and you can see choices on the far left side that say My Drive, Computers, Shared with Me. And you can look at all documents that are shared with you. I created a document, files under the files shared with agents, but new to real estate, now what? And in there is an accumulation of about 6 or 7 documents. I went through and found most of these in the EXP shared file last night. Mastering prospecting scripts. Do y'all think that would be helpful? I had no idea that was in there. So there's all these, here's the lead scripts. How to hunt for expireds, for sell by owners, for rent, just sold, objection scripts. And glancing at this last night, it looked like this was kind of cold calling scripts. But if that's something that y'all like doing, then great. There it is. There's all your scripts for it. The mentor checklist, somebody's asked me about that earlier. This is from our mentor program. Everyone that's on the mentor program should have this checklist because it's something that the mentor and the mentee both use. If you're not in the mentor program, I included it because to me it gives you a good starting point and let you know things that you can be working on and getting yourself set up on. So it's a lot. It's a big old long list of things and checklists that you can use. First American Title, they're one of our sponsors last year at EXPCon. There's a document called What to Expect, and this walks you through the whole point of title, the title of the life of escrow and what that looks like. It's not anything for you to necessarily share with other people, but it helps you get familiar with what does the home buying process look like. I would encourage you to go to a title company, kind of ask around or find one nearby. Independence Title, Stewart Title, um, Texas National Title, First American Title are all good reputable companies, and there's several others. Go in there, schedule an appointment with an escrow officer, and let them know you're brand new to real estate and can they walk you through what the life cycle looks like. The reason that they will probably jump all over themselves and be happy to help you is because they work on commission. They get paid for every closing that they have. So you become their client. And so they're motivated to help you be loyal to them. Um, so spend some time with that. They can walk you through how to read a survey and what to look for on a survey. The contract to close process. What does that look like? This is a great document. This is something that you could share with clients. And it's on a neat, easy to print out sheet that you can hand out. One thing that I thought was really cool, and I'd forgotten that Jill does this. Jill Liebernight is here in Austin. She's a Platinum Top 50 agent. She serves on several committees for EXP. She's just a fantastic agent. She is a soft sell. If she had to ever pick up the phone and make cold calls, I think she'd rather go back to being a drama teacher. She's just incredible at what she does. So she has standards and she shares with her team her business standards: authenticity, total confidence, unwavering care, unconditional respect. She has built her business. She's the queen of farming. She has everybody in her neighborhood knows her. She helps organize the garden club. She helps organize a lot of the community events in her neighborhood. Every year she teaches a tax appraisal class as far as how to object to your tax appraisal, how to file an objection. And she teaches that, and now it's grown to be, she holds it at an elementary school. But she has standards and that she adheres to. And it's not something she just came up with, late one night. She spent some time on this. Treat all parties with kindness, admit when we've failed, take full responsibility for our actions. She has a huge, huge following amongst her neighbors and referrals. And then finally, just for good measure, because it's new, has nothing to do with being brand new to real estate, but a guide to the EXP World Mobile. So our world just went mobile, and they're still working out some of the bugs. But this tells you how to download the app in the App Store, whether it be for iPhone or Android, and how to log in and pop into any of the meeting rooms so that you can attend via mobile app. Um, you don't, we don't have the capability yet to go into transactions, agent services, or accounting, but they're working on that. So that is the crash course, guys, on what I have to offer and what's available and how to get started. Um, what questions do you have, or what can we go back over that would be helpful to you?
Sheila, I'm on the mobile app right now, but I can't see any screens. Will you be emailing this information to us?
It emailed out earlier, Lori, and Ron is also, so if the recording all works out and turns out, it'll also be on the YouTube channel.
Thank you. I really love this mobile app. I really appreciate you guys putting that in.
If only I could take credit for it. If I was the one doing it, it would be helpful because I'm very technology challenged.
Hey Sheila, do you have the YouTube address? I've Googled EXP and I get a bunch of different ones, and I don't know which one everybody's speaking of.
We will send that out. I don't remember offhand exactly what it is, but we will send it out. We'll send the link out statewide as well. And then once you go in there, I think you need to subscribe to the channel and it'll pop up.
Okay, thank you.
Bet.
Sheila, I had another question. I'm in New Braunfels, but the address that I was given for the regular permanent address is in Austin. How do I get a New Braunfels address?
Currently, we don't have a Regis Center or anything located in New Braunfels. You can choose between San Antonio or Austin. I can check to see if it's possible to get something in New Braunfels as a branch office, but do you office out of your home, Lori?
Yes, I do. And the problem is online, people think that I'm an Austin realtor because the address is in Austin. That's on Zillow and everything.
Okay, okay. I can visit with Ron about it and see what we can do to try and offer some help that way. Would it be more helpful for you to have a San Antonio address, you think?
I don't think it matters either way. New Braunfels is right in the middle between Austin and
Okay,
San Antonio. I have a P.O. box, but I know that can't work as a standalone office address.
gotcha. Okay, let me check on that and see what we can find out for you. And then Sherry was kind enough to post that the YouTube channel is eXp Realty Texas Administration. Joy,
Thank
we
you
send
so
it.
much.
Sorry, Lori.
I just said thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Joy, we're working on the DFW addresses as well. That's on our radar this week. And yes, Mercy, El Paso. I know y'all have asked for that numerous times. And that is one of my start items, and I will write that down as well for us to take care of El Paso. Okay, is there anything else that we can go over that will help you guys as far as helping to launch your business or being new to real estate or any terms? And again, this is a safe place, so any terms that you've heard, we get the question sometimes, what is a DA or what is a CDA? That is your distribution authorization. So whenever you get ready to go to the closing table, the broker issues a DA. That's what tells the title company that, yes, pay Mercy $3,000 and $1,000 to eXp Realty. And that's called a split check DA.